side. Link's house has a bow to start off with. That's interesting. Hopefully we can get a second bow. That would be a really fun start, having the light arrows, because if you charge up a light arrow shot, you can break these trees that are located in the early parts of the game, and that can be your progression out of Sphere 0. So we got a little bit of divergence starting out. OcNi's going directly into town, but Aero's checking out the Wind Tribe, which has a bomb bag. So OcNi's going to need to head back over to there. OcNi checks out the shop. There's not much in there at the moment. Early checks in town not really showing anything right now. And a spin attack. Spin attack's really important. That's going to give access to a lot of things in a while. Not anything right at this moment. They do need the sword first. Yeah, so Aero's going to make use of those bombs and head right for the Minish, Link's Puddle Cave and get this huge loot of items. That is 2 swords! We do not have any trap items on in these settings, so any items you see, that's what it is. Yep, we got a Swampkin Stone and 2 swords. This is a bit of a lightning start at the moment. So, OcNi has checked a couple of things in town and is head into North Hyrule Field. They're going to check out the Tingle Trees. Yeah, Karloff Meadow nice and early. But Aero's making use of that Ocarina and just heading directly to Lake and is going to check a couple of things out. They did pick up a dog food, so they're going to be handing that in to Fifi and collecting the item. They went over to Lake and had a look at the item. I did not get to see what that item was. It was just a bottom refill. Okay, so we check some junk there in the middle of Lake Hylia and a grip ring in the dried up pond in Lon Lon Ranch. This is a lot of items for like literally 2 minutes into the seed. I hope this isn't a jet seat. I don't think it is at this point yet. Oh, and there is... Touch called out there's going to be a bottleneck, and OcNi picks it up right away in the castle. Now, the issue is... that is access to Mount Crenel. The thing is, OcNi needs to go down to South Hyrule, he needs to go back down to Link's house and get the bombs and get the Ocarina and float over to Lon Lon and get that grip ring to be able to get access. Aero needs to go up to the castle to grab the bottle, and then we can start seeing Crenel. But, we've collectively seen the items we need to get to Crenel, but the runners have gone on completely different paths to get these items so far, so we're going to have to wait a little bit. So we are seeing Aero just follow what OcNi did up in North Hyrule Field, and OcNi is heading back down and is going to be doing what Aero did. So we're not going to be seeing any new checks for a little while at the moment, just as they're catching up to what each other have been doing in the meantime. We haven't had an element check yet, so we don't know which dungeons are required. Now, this really defines how the seed's going to go. If they need to collect all of the kinstones, because the dungeons such as Fortress and Palace are they have elements, you need to get every single kinstone to be able to reach those dungeons and be able to beat the game. So you're going to be playing the seed a little bit more thorough and making sure you don't bail out of locations quite as freely as you would. If the seed didn't require those dungeons, then you don't need to collect any kinstones, and that's a lot of items you don't need to collect in the seed. So you can play a lot faster and kind of rush the locations that are as dense as possible, because you're probably going to be hitting Go mode a bit earlier than normally. Right, we're checking out Swiftblade. We can see 2 items in here because of that green sword. Swiftblade has 4 items available, one for just having 1 sword, and then the second item for having a level 2 sword. The other 2 items are having a sword and boots, and then a sword and a cape. So we can always come back here when we have those items available. OcNi's also warping over to Lake. In the meantime, Aero will be checking some stuff here in town. Aero did take a moment to buy a heart piece in the shop. When you've got the money available, might as well do it early on. The more hearts you get, the better. The more options you have available. And if you want to do scary things, like you're going to droplets very early, if it's available, you want as much health as you can get for that. Aero's going for a bit of a play here. They are going to be doing the Simon Simulations fight. In the meantime, OcNi's doing quite the different play, where they're going to be going underneath the school. Now, racers in this tourney have very much tried to avoid skipping this under the school basement check for us, like doing it as early as possible, because for some reason in quite a few of the high profile matches recently, there's been something important here. But not in this sea today. There is nothing down there. What did Aero get? Aero didn't save and scum out of the Simon Simulations fight, but it was junk anyway. Aero does have all of the things available to go up Mount Krenel. However, then choosing not to do so currently. I think we've seen everything in town so far, but OcNi is going for the play of Mount Krenel. We haven't seen anyone go over to Minish Woods yet. Minish Woods, the normal, or like the what you would normally see as the opening play for a lot of players, we're not going to be seeing. OcNi bottles a fairy there, which they're able to do so because they have the grip ring, so they don't need to bottle any hot spring water here. I'm assuming they. Wait, no. They didn't get to use water and pour it on the fireplace in town to open up the fountain because they don't have access to that side of town yet. So they may have to use their bottle to dump their fairy and use that bottle of water a bit later. However, Aero is going to be following OcNi, so we're going to see both of them matching up here and going through Krenel at the same time. So, Krenel is a bit of a difficult choice right now because, yes, you have the grip ring, so you get access to the beanstalk spot at the very top of the mountain, and that has a lot of item locations located there. There are 9 items just in that spot there. That's pretty much the same as the total combined value of everything else in Mount Krenel. So a lot of the time it is worth it just to kind of avoid the bottom lower section of Mount Krenel that they're doing at the moment. But not in this case, because OcNi picks up the flippers and Aero is following OcNi over into this section. They are pretty much following exactly what the other racer is doing right now. Those flippers are going to be pretty important. I'm going to give access to Lake Hylia, Mount Krenel. Not Mount Krenel. Lake Hylia, Temple of Droplets. And they will be able to also go into Deepwood Shrine. All stuff located on the very other side of the map. Also, this section is brutally slow because they had to go through a set of caves that if you have the cape, you can skip entirely because all of those caves do is give you access to a little tornado that you can jump into and glide with Eslo. There is the cane. Okay, yeah, just ignore what I say about Lower Krenel because like I'm always wrong. When it comes to Krenel, you need to understand that I'm just wrong. Doesn't matter how good you are at the game and like routing and stuff. I just always choose the wrong option when it comes to Chrono. I was like, oh, I was just gonna rush to the top beanstalk, but no, like cape and flippers. Sorry, cane and flippers in the lower section. You missed what dungeons are elements. Well, neither of the runners have checked yet. We are 10 minutes in, and we haven't seen it yet. No one has decided to have a look. Wait, no, we have seen. Sorry, OcNi checked, and there is no Deepwood Shrine and no Cave of Flames. Okay, and we're seeing another check from Aero's side as well. Yeah, so that is those are the first two dungeons in the game. So this seed is definitely the seed is very much a is going to be a longer seed. We need to have all of the kinstones collected to be able to beat this one. Yeah, OcNi is not opting to go into Cave of Flames right away. They did a quick check of the visible spots and didn't see anything they wanted in there, so they are going to be clearing out Malari's mines, just in case there's a cape or something here. Cape and Gustia and remote bombs vastly improve the speed that you can do Cave of Flames, so... Also, because they have the ocarina, they can go to that awkward spot on the side that isn't easy to quick walk back from, and just use the ocarina to flute back to the very entrance of the dungeon. So OcNi's hopping down and is going to be following right behind Aero, who just picked up the power bracelets, and is going to be ascending up the Mount Krenel climb. The funny thing about Krenel at the moment is we haven't even checked out the vast majority of the item locations yet. We haven't seen the mitts yet. When we get the mitts, we're going to be able to do all of the digging spots in Malari's mines. That's like 8 items. And we're about to hit the beanstalk, which is the mother lode of this area, so strap on in and get ready for what we are going to find at the top of this beanstalk. Wow, that was a load of rubbish. So my play was definitely wrong, which was just rush the beanstalk at the very beginning of the of this area. Yeah, so Aero will be going over to get the rain chest. Now, their quick warp location at the moment is going to be the very bottom of Mount Krenel. Are they going to climb all the way up and try, go to Cave of Flames now that they've got the cane? Or are they going to just leave? They are leaving. They're not going to go to Cave of Flames yet. Never mind, they have changed their mind and they are going to be going to Cave of Flames. Meanwhile, OcNi respawns at the last time they entered the area, which happens to be when they were small. So they were Minish sized exiting Malari's mines. But they don't want to go into Cave of Flames. They are going to go to Lake Hylia. Cave of Flames is not an element today. It's not necessary that the runners will have to beat the boss to be able to beat the seed. So let's check out what items we're going to be seeing in Lake Hylia. Oh, nice heart container find on Wave Blades, heart piece. Only 6 hearts so far. Apologies. Oh. I am getting over the last remnants of a cold, so I do have a little bit of a cough right now. OcNi is going to be the first to make it into Temple of Droplets. With these flippers, they are going to be able to check a lot of locations. Honestly, Droplets is the most check-dense location at this very moment. We're going to be almost definitely seeing some kind of progression here. Meanwhile, Aero is remembering that the school basement is meta at the moment, so they are going to be doing that and making sure that they don't put it off for too long. However, on OcNi's side, we're going to be getting a bunch of items here. Swim Butterfly. The Veil Foolskin Stone. So the Veil Foolskin Stone has opened up a lot of available item locations in Veil Falls, all of which are currently out of logic because we don't have a lantern, so we're going to have to go through one of the dark rooms. That is the Red Sword. The Red Sword is there, and a bunch of spin scrolls as well. So, we've also acquired Roll Attack. I just realized OcNi's personal tracker has 2 Roll Attack scrolls. Someone's using a bugged tracker. Never mind. They've got another scroll somewhere and I can't see what it is because they have 2 things marked as roll. But yeah, they are taking a moment here to do this slow ice block push puzzle. Now, if you come back later with the lantern, all you need to do is melt this ice block and you don't need to push it around and just solve the thing. Is it fast? Yeah, I think you're right. It is fast spin. Okay, so Aero's been doing a few checks in town with access to the flippers and the cane. So OcNi has the red sword right now, and is not going to Western Woods. They are going up Veil Falls. This is a interesting choice. Normally the play is, as soon as you hit Red Sword, is you just rush to Veil Falls. It's kind of worked out for them a little bit, because they just picked up the Gust Jar, which is a very important item to find. It's normally quite a rare one in a lot of instances. It can be your go mode item a lot of the time. A Link to the Past races will can compare it a lot to the Ice Rod if you've got Turtle Rock as a required crystal dungeon. So OcNi is about to hit the big location here in Vale Falls and picks up the remote bombs. And there we see our boomerang and our second bow and the Lon Ranch key. But there is our light arrows. Okay, arrow picks up great spin. Okay, OcNi can do one more check up here in Cloud Tops before they're going to have to leave back to town. OcNi is warping directly to Mount Krenel. Okay, so that they will be. I think they're going to. They're going to be going to Western Woods soon. They're just going to Greyblade first along the way. Greyblade is definitely a good spot to be to go for. It is unlocked with the red sword, just like Western Woods, because they had the grip ring earlier. That is where our lantern is in Greyblade. That shouldn't be a spot that you avoid for too long. It's quite dense with 4 items in there. But I think OcNi has put off Western Woods for too long at this point and is heading right over to it. Meanwhile, Aero's going to be doing lower Vale Falls. They haven't decided to go to Temple of Droplets yet, which is where their red sword will be found. Or they may find another sword somewhere else that we haven't seen yet. There is a Cloudtops Kinstone. We need all of the Kinstones that we can find. And OcNi is going to find a book and another Kinstone, which is the Cloudtops Kinstone. So that is 2 found so far. And on the other side, Aero finds a Cloudtops Kinstone. However, in Lon Ranch. Oh, and OcNi picks up a second book as well. 9 hearts already. That is a lot of health. It's such a huge increase from what we had earlier. We really didn't have that many hearts right at the start of the seed, but then we hit these mass item locations that just had heart pieces and heart containers. Right, we are getting Percy checked, and there is nothing on Percy today. Skip Percy. Always junk. Never has anything. There's 3 time save. Alright, Aero picks up a shield. We are checking a couple of very early checks here on Aero's side. Meanwhile, OcNi gets to the top of the beanstalk, finds a bunch of heart pieces and that blue sword. So there is only 1 sword remaining. So it's looking much more likely that Aero will have to go to Temple of Droplets to get their red sword, which will lead to their blue sword. However, the seed can always be nice, and they just find it somewhere else, and all of the swords are just nice and early. How mean are we feeling today, chat? Do we want these runners to have a nice, easy race, or do we want them to suffer horribly? Because we can always do have something like painful, like Four Sword is on Glee Rock or something with the cape is locked in School Garden. Actually, I don't think that's that bad. I think that's awful for me. I would hate that. But I don't think it's like bad when it comes to this rando. So OcNi has decided to go back to Temple of Droplets because with that Gust Jar they have access to a bunch more item locations. They got another waterfall here, which is another 6 items. And Aero, on the other hand, is going to be going into Minish Woods. We haven't seen any checks in Minish Woods done so far. Aero is the first person to head over to there. They're going to be doing Goldfish Caves first. There are 4 items in here, which is always a good spot to head off to. OcNi doesn't get anything from that waterfall. So they are going to continue going, though, because this is a required dungeon. It's a good idea to go and activate the blue warp, which is the halfway point checkpoint for this dungeon, and is really useful to get if you have the cape. It gives access to skipping a big chunk of this dungeon if you just want to go to the boss. OcNi fighting Madapillars on ice, or just one Madapillar on the ice. So there's our droplets map. I don't think we've seen the compass yet. One of the things you like doing in droplets is if you don't have, like if you cleared the whole dungeon without doing Blue Chew, and the only item you have left is like the compass. Okay, never mind, because we saw the map and compass. But if you beat the whole dungeon and you haven't collected either map or compass and you haven't seen like one of them, you can determine, oh, it's on Blue Chew and I don't need to fight Blue Chew today. And that's always nice to have, but it's a bit uncommon. But yes, OcNi can decide to full clear Temple of Droplets right at this very moment if they wish. Is that a... yeah, it's an absolute, like, true full clear. However, the... it's just going to be slightly slow because no cape. But on the other side, we do see Aero going into Deepwood Shrine, which unfortunately they don't have the Gust Jar. And Gust Jar is such an important item to have when doing Deepwood, because it lets you beat the boss and also do the vast majority of the checks. And in a lot of situations, you can straight up be locked out of the majority of the dungeon for not having the Gust Jar. If Aero doesn't pick up a key in the next 2 item spots, they are going to have to leave, which is probably the best for Aero. Because they need to get pushed over towards Temple of Droplets. So on OcNi's side, they've cleaned up the the scissor beetle fight with making handy use of that boomerang. The boomerang's so strong against the scissor beetles because it stuns them for an extended duration, far longer than most other enemies. And when they're stunned, you can just pin them against a corner and kill them quickly. Aero, unfortunately, finds a small key, which means that they're going to be able to check the backside of Deepwood. Maybe they find a sword. Maybe they find a cape. Maybe they find something important. Okay, OcNi is making their way through the right-hand side of Templar Droplets now. This path is a little bit annoying when you don't have the boots or the cape. The boots let you move much easier on ice. It's like when you're dashing with the boots, it's like you're not even running on ice at all. And of course, the cape lets you just jump over all of the big gaps in the room. Okay, OcNi is going to be going for Blue Chew. I mean, they did see the 2 dungeon items, so it's a case of do it now or never do Blue Chew at all. And they fancy doing Blue Chew. Right, Aero is hitting the back end of Deepwood Shrine. I'm going to be seeing a bunch of items over here. So Blue Chew is the first boss that we're seeing this seed. It's not an element containing boss. Because it is just used as the mini boss of this dungeon in the vanilla game. Even though it is a clone of the main boss of the first dungeon. Aero has been forced out of Deepwood rather early here. Well, not rather early. They managed to clear a lot of the dungeon. OcNi gets rewarded with a larger wallet for their troubles. And Aero picks up another shield. OcNi gets really good Scissor Beetle RNG where they all like clumped up together but also stayed facing in the same orientation, so he could just go to the side of them and slash them and like get a double kill on them. That is so incredibly optimal. It's quite rare to get the Scissor Beetles to go and sit themselves in a position like that to let you kill them that easily. Right, Aero has cleared the vast majority of Minish Woods so far, and they are just going to be cleaning up a few more of the checks located around. OcNi is nearly done with the item locations available in Templar Droplets. They're not going to be done with the dungeon for a while. Because once we check the last couple of items here, they're going to have to go through the long winding path to unlock the boss, which will take probably another 5 minutes. And that's also including fighting the boss itself. There is a Cloudtops Kinstone as well. So we saw Aero pick up a Swamp Kinstone in Minish Woods that OcNi is going to go and have to pick up at some point. And OcNi spots that gold Kinstone for Cloudtops, the Cloudtops Kinstone, on the path to Octo with the boots. That is not a particularly nice boots location. It will be even worse if it turns out the cape is boot locked, because that spot is much nicer to get to. If you have the cape, you can always jump off over the gap after you get after you get the blue warp. And on Aero's side, we spot the last Swamp Kinstone. Aero has found all of the Swamp Kinstones. That is located on Librari. So we should see OcNi do that fairly soon after beating this dungeon. Maybe the first thing they do is they just quickly warp to the warp spot here in Lake Hylia and get that Librari check done. Now, Aero is currently doing an out of logic location. They hopped down from the Librari spot into the water, and they're currently doing stuff as Minish in Lake Hylia. You're not expected to do this. The randomizer doesn't expect you to do this without the boots, because you're expected to bonk into one of the trees to be able to turn small. But Aero is deciding to do this anyway. However, we do know OcNi has brought this into logic, because they found the boots in Templar Droplets. So it's not massively out of logic what Aero is doing at the moment. But that ice cave that they did first is real tricky if you don't have the boots or the cape to make that room much easier. And Aero gets the last of those Lake Hylia Minish size checks done. Now, you're not soft locked when you're Minish size and down in Lake Hylia without bonking into that tree, because all you need to do is get close enough to it, and it will let you regrow even though the tree hasn't been bonked into. And it kind of pops you back out of it as well. Yeah, Aero is still doing really low on hearts at the moment. They're only on 7 hearts currently, where OcNi's on 12. It's just all of the heart pieces and heart containers are locked behind on the big item locations in Western Woods. So they just need to go into Templar Droplets and get their sword, which they are doing. So we do see both of our runners in Templar Droplets at the same time at the moment. Aero just entering for the first time, and OcNi going to be finishing up the dungeon, defeating the boss. Templar Droplets is definitely the longest dungeon in the game by far. It is probably longer than it's probably longer than Dark Hyrule Castle in a lot of instances as well. So it's no surprise to see both of our runners in here at the same time. So OcNi has the boots, but they didn't have any cape, any shield. So there is a strategy here on Octo known as the Octo Manipulation. Octo is a randomized boss. It's all of the actions it does is random, at least in the second half of the boss. This first half it's very much scripted, where it will always do the same like pattern of sucking and then just firing rocks out. But we're approaching the third cycle here, where Octo's basically got two choices. It's gonna do a suck attack, fire a rock, and then ink, or it will just fire 3 rocks in a row. And OcNi gets 3 rocks in a row. Wow, that is perfect luck. That was completely luck based that they got that. If they get a suck and then an ink, that waits about 30 seconds. Because you need to hit 3 rocks back at Octo to kill it in that last cycle, if you get the worst possible RNG, you can get 2 ink cycles, which loses over a minute, just due to luck. So, OcNi very much pleased that they got blessed by Octo today. Right, what's the first thing OcNi's going to do after Temple of Droplets with these boots? They are going to be just heading right for Swiftblade in town and picking up the single item location that's available here for showing him the boots. But Aero did pick up that sword whilst they were over in Temple of Droplets, and is heading right for Western Woods. So Aero has caught up in hearts. They are at 10 now, and they're going to be getting even more now. OcNi spending a little bit of time here grabbing those this boot locked location in South Hyrule Field. We haven't seen any of the other items here in South Hyrule Field. This is such an early set of locations. Like this chest here, you'd expect to see this in like the first 5 minutes, and that was the first time we've seen either one of these runners do that location. Right, Aero is picking up his blue sword. Oh, did we see Aero go and do that earlier? Never mind. And there is that shield. Yes, I remember now. Aero picked up that shield. But OcNi is over in Minish Woods now, so we're going to be seeing them pick up all of the item locations that Aero's been doing in the meantime. Aero picks up the long spin because they've already got the great spin, and I believe that is all of the spin scrolls and upgrades for Aero. And Aero cleans up the moat. Now, what those boots did for OcNi is they brought the entirety of Swamp and, well, not Vale, not Wind Ruins and Fortress of Winds yet, but if they keep going in Minish Woods like they are now, they're going to find that last Kinstone, and it's going to give them access to is going to give them access to Fortress of Winds. However, Aero does make their way up Vale Falls. They did find the Vale Falls Kinstone, so it's a good idea to go and do this now. They do have the blue sword whilst they're doing this, whereas OcNi did not have the blue sword when they were here in Vale Falls, and there is one location that requires the blue sword, which we haven't seen yet, so Aero can get that check done. We have seen this chest be the decider of a race already in this round of the tournament. one of the matches simultaneously to this match was decided because there was an item located here where Arrow's checking. So what do we need to finish the run? We need... they've got a lot of the item locations, the items needed already. We're going to need to see one more sword. We need the 4 sword to be able to beat the boss, to beat Vati. So we need items to be able to reach Dark Hyrule Castle in the first place. So we need all of the items needed to beat the bosses. So we need to find all of the kinstones. I think we are only missing 1 kinstone left now. Just because they've been collecting them from different locations. We're going to need to find the mitts. And then we're going to need to find the cape. And we're going to need to find the graveyard key. These are going to give us access to the dungeon so that we can collect the elements. And then the only extra item we're going to need to actually beat the boss, to beat the Vati and beat the game, is going to be the 4 sword. So they're the items we're looking for. It's 5 items for Go mode at the moment. So OcNi is over in Swamp at the moment. Doing the quick Dark Nut fight, and I'm going to be checking a few more of the locations here. They left Minish Woods without picking up that last Swampkin stone, so they're not going to be able to go over to Fortress of Winds, one of the required dungeons in their trip right now. But if they decide to go back to Deepwood Shrine, which they're going to have to at some point because it is a required dungeon and they have all of the items needed to full clear it, then we will be seeing them pick up that kinstone. Honestly, a lot of the items that we've seen on one runner that the other runner hasn't picked up yet is on the path to a required dungeon. So... it's not... this isn't looking like an evil seed so far. There's very much things are in convenient locations. I'm sorry, Deepwood is not required. I'm being dumb. OcNi may completely ignore the entirety of Deepwood. I've forgotten. Deepwood Shrine and Cave of Flames, the first 2 dungeons in a vanilla playthrough of this game, are not required. They don't have elements. You don't necessarily have to beat the bosses to gain access to Dark Hyrule Castle. Aero went into Deepwood and didn't find anything. That is Aero's disadvantage at the moment. They especially went in there without the Gust Jar, which meant they didn't get to... do a few of the other checks, so they are still missing stuff in there if even though they invested a lot of time not getting anything important. Aero will be grabbing something in Greyblade. What was it that they got? Was it the lantern? I think it was the lantern. So that lantern is probably going to push them back over to Temple of Droplets. Aero is cursoring over Lake, and they are going to be warping over to Lake. Yeah, they're going straight in. They realise they have their Gust Jar, which means they've got access to another one of the waterfalls, and they can do the left side lily pads. But that lantern also opened up the entirety of the right-hand side, and they can even do the boss. So they're thinking, okay, I can just spend some time here just getting all of the items, full clearing this dungeon, because the boss is required. Let's just get that done. OcNi had already spent a lot of time doing all of this in Templar Droplets, and Aero is just following in OcNi's footsteps here. But on OcNi's side, we're going to be seeing more new item locations. They are going for hiking. Hiking's the slowest location in the swamp. It takes so long to get to this spot because you have to be Minish and you have to traverse the entirety of the swamp and go from the very top left corner all the way to the bottom right corner just for that cave. And that grueling, awful room of nasty enemies, and at the very end you're greeted with an ammo arrow refill. But OcNi has left Swamp, and they're going to North Hyrule Field. They're picking up their Great Spin. Aero had already picked this up a bit earlier. They're probably going to be doing Moat now, which, again, we saw Aero do a little bit earlier. OcNi is going to be pushing the big block and going over into Royal Valley. They have the lantern, so all of the locations here are in logic. You can do this without the lantern, but it's just you have to go for a couple dark rooms. It's not like the dark rooms are any hard in this game because, unlike A Link to the Past, in this game, if you don't have the lantern, you still have a little circle of light visible around you, so you can very easily maneuver your way through. Unfortunately, OcNi does get grabbed by one of the genies there. They're going to be getting more of these spots. They're going to get the Lost Woods chest and then go up to Dampe. They don't have the graveyard key, so they can't head into the graveyard just yet. So Aero is following OcNi pretty much exactly in Templar Droplets. They are also doing Blue Chew. They could have saved a couple minutes here if they just decided to skip Blue Chew, but I think we've seen Blue Chew have a lot of items recently in seeds, so the runners aren't opting to skip this boss today. So OcNi is making use of these boots. They found the boots most recently, so they're going to want to be chasing that up because they know it's like it was at the end of Templar Droplets, so it wasn't easy to acquire these boots. So the item locations that I'm checking now with these boots, my opponent's probably not going to be able to like do these right away. So if I get something important from these, that's great. Aero is fighting the Scissor Beetles now before the Dark Maze. Fighting them in the dark is it's difficult for to see what's going on as a viewer, but as someone playing the game, it is far easier to kill the scissor beetles in the dark with the boomerang, because they just get locked in place and then you can just slash and kill them. Whereas if you've got the lantern on, you can't stun them, so they're moving around all over the place. Even though you can see where they're going, it's still awkward to fight them. OcNi didn't like orphaning this one chest location in Vale Falls, so went back to check on it, but it doesn't give them anything. OcNi has a lot of stuff not done here in town. It's surprising to see that we haven't seen the mitts yet, though we haven't hit the hour mark yet, and the seed was very like front heavy, so it's just taken this long for the runners to like exhaust all of the item locations available to them. In a couple moments' time, Aero's going to be picking up their boots, and that is going to be giving them access to Fortress of Winds and the Swamp. So that is going to be a completely new dungeon full of locations, full of items that we haven't seen yet. OcNi needs to head over to Minish Woods, then that's going to be where their last Swampkin Stone will be located. But because Deepwood is not a required dungeon, it's going to take a while for OcNi to decide to want to go over to there. OcNi taking a quick pause here. In the meantime, Aero has collected all of the items bar from the boss here in Templar Droplets, and is just going to be spending this time unlocking the boss. So OcNi had left this one location here in Mount Crenel, that business scrub. They did not have a shield here earlier because both the shields were in Minish Woods, I believe, or at least in that area. So they only gone there recently and picked it up now, so they can go over there and do that. Now here is a location we haven't seen yet, and that's the underneath the library. So despite not having all three of the books available yet, they can't hand in the books and get the item location on Yellari, but they can go underneath the library and pick up the three items that are available here. Very nice fight, Scissor Beetle fights from OcNi, getting to stun them together and just doubled the damage with those slashes, getting double hits in. Oh, very unfortunate from Aero. They had set up this Madapilla fight really well. They were like stacked on top of each other, and they had a great spin available and was using it, but unfortunately they got bonked and lost the great spin. The webs here are incredibly annoying. and just touching them like launches you, like pushes you and bounces you around and makes it more awkward to fight these guys. Are very close to be killing that Caterpillar. They're gonna have to wait for another cycle on the Caterpillar fight, and one last slash to finish it off. Meanwhile, OcNi is doing more of the town checks. I'm pretty sure we saw Aero check these out earlier and it was all junk. Where was Aero's third Castor Wild's concerned? It was somewhere in Minish Woods. We haven't seen the Yalaria. Was it Goldfish Caves? Oh, Librari? I thought we saw... Oh, it was Librari. Yeah, that's right. It was Librari. In the lake. Yes, OcNi did pick up the Swampkin stone that was in Minish Woods. And they just need to warp to lake and go to the Librari spot. They have the boots now, which makes the Minish size checks in Lake Hylia in logic. And that is OcNi's 4th Cloudtop's Kinstone. I'm pretty sure Aero also has 4 Cloudtop's Kinstones. Yes. Aero's personal tracker is saying 3. I think they just need to hit the reset button on that. But our stream's trackers are correct. Nice. Aero gets a 1 cycle on that Ice Caterpillar with a great spin. Oh, we are seeing OcNi come into Minish Woods. There was something in Goldfish Caves, right? I thought there was. Aero is slowly doing this ice block pushing puzzle. I'm sure they are aware that oh yeah, okay, that is a possible way to solve this. But you don't need to do this puzzle. As we saw on OcNi's side earlier, all you need to do is push the lily pad a little bit, and then as the lily pads are gliding, just leave the screen and come back. And the game just defaults the lily pad to its home location for this room, which is at the very top of the room. And it just skips this puzzle. Alright, OcNi does do Goldfish Caves and doesn't get anything from it. Yeah, just a useless quiver. Right, Aero is going to be hitting this first switch in Temple of Droplets, which is going to stack all of the cutscenes and play them simultaneously. So Aero is going to have a short cutscene break here for about 40 seconds, whilst it plays all of the cutscenes for melting the ice block and spawning the boss. Meanwhile, OcNi is collecting all of the bomb bags that were available to them in Minish Woods. They just picked up 2. They must have found another one somewhere else that Aero hasn't found. Yeah, OcNi is going into Deepwood. They can do more of this dungeon than Aero has done. So they're definitely going to be wasting some time here. Possibly not wasting time, because it could always be the case that the items that Aero didn't get in here are going to be progression. We're still missing Cape and Mitts, and one of the Kinstones, and the Foresword, and the Graveyard Key. Ages ago we said that there were 5 items left to find, and we haven't found any one of them yet. At the moment, if Aero gets this boss done quick and heads over to Swamp straight away with the boots and then goes into Fortress, they could be the first one to Fortress. And the rest of the seed is not looking great so far. I don't think there's very much left. I can't think of the spots we haven't seen yet. Did we check the shop roof? Yeah, we did check that, and we checked Anju, and the half ledge. I didn't see the half ledge, I don't think, or Cuckoo Game. Yeah, we will be seeing Hendrus Ledge though, because both of these runners have done Blue Chew with the lantern before they decided to go to town and get the half ledge done. But now our races are evened up when it comes to elements. They are one apiece at the moment. It's the only one they have access to. Aero will be finishing up this dungeon with one last check here. I think the only other thing, other than like half ledge, we didn't see Wind Tribe Gregor. But also I don't think we saw Fountain at all. And we keep forgetting about this, but Cave of Flames, neither of them have checked Cave of Flames. It was available really early on in the seed, and no one actually went into there. We had a quick check of the beginning, but they didn't want to check the rest of the items. Right, Arrow is warping to South Hyrule Field. Is this a tingle check? It is. And then will it be a dash over to the swamp and into Fortress without the mitts? Were the mitts in Cave of Flames this whole time and we've just been ignoring it for 40 minutes? Graveyard Key in Fortress and mitts in Graveyard is beautifully devilish. Alright, OcNi is doing some of the checks in Deepwood that Arrow didn't do at the time. But Arrow is heading to Swamp. Are they going to be brave and go to Fortress? That is the other bomb bag we saw on OcNi's side. It was the soggy bomb bag in Swamp. Right, OcNi's getting one last location here in Deepwood, and we know that this is the boss key. This switch chest is going to have the boss key for Deepwood, so that they can go and do Green Shoe. If Green Shoe has the cape. That is so awful, because it means you have to do this entire lily pad ride just to get the boss key so that you can get to it. Normally that chest isn't too bad if you have the cape, because you can just quickly hop over that gap. But if you don't have the cape and can't just hop over the gap, you need to ride the lily pad all the way around from the other side of the dungeon. It's a big pain. Oh, the roller of the seed is myself. It is a myth seed. So I am fully to blame for all of the misdeeds this seed is going to inflict. Arrow is going to be doing all of the Swamp Minish checks. We didn't see anything on these from OcNi's side. Oh, OcNi getting a bit of a bad chew fight here. Whoa, that's bad RNG. Bad timing. They got the full 5 jumps. He loses a couple of seconds, but in the grand scheme of things, not majorly disastrous. Okay, there is a blue rupee for your troubles. And what is the other item that OcNi is going to get? It is a small key, because they had 3 small keys for the dungeon. So they knew that the second item had to be a small key. That was Deepwood done, and completely barren. There was nothing there. Arrow did leave like 3 items there, so yeah, Arrow does not need to go back and fight the boss. Hopefully they don't, because I would definitely go to Cave of Flames first before going to finish up a slow Deepwood. Right, what is OcNi doing? I thought OcNi already did Town Minish. It was definitely the Aero definitely did the back of the hearth, but I guess OcNi has not done Town Minish, so they are doing that right now. Aero sees the junk that is here in Swamp Minish. They are dashing over to the left because they are doing the Dark Nut fight, which they didn't do earlier. I don't like putting off the Dark Nut fight till after hiking. Seems a bit odd to me. It's so much faster than hiking. If you're planning on full clearing the entire area of swamp, though, it doesn't exactly matter which one you do in what order. And it's definitely faster to quick warp after leaving the Dark Knight instead of climbing up all of these stairs. That just the staircase animation is so slow. Yeah, OcNi doing a Simon fight at 1 hour 16 minutes in. We saw Aero do this very early, and it was junk. OcNi did save right before the fight, so they can skip all of the cutscenes at the end of the fight. Link has a really slow waking up animation, so if you save right before you go in, see what the item is, and then you just reset your game. Wait, sorry? Okay, OcNi is dumping that fairy in that bottle I mentioned like an hour ago, and is dumping the water on the fireplace to give them access to fountain, because we haven't seen it yet. Did OcNi do half-ledge? I didn't notice them do it just now. But they're going to be doing Dr. Left and Fountain. Aero is going to Fortress. They are doing the fusions. They're going to be the first one over there. Now, Aero is just hoping that OcNi doesn't find the mitts right now in the fountain, or that they aren't in Cave of Flames. Aero could just find everything they need over in Fortress at the moment, because it's Fortress of Go mode. Right, the first item in the fountain is junk. OcNi's going to do a fight here to get the second item, and then run over to do a chest on the other side for the third and final item here in the fountain. Meanwhile, Aero is going to constantly be picking up chests along the way as they're heading over to Fortress. That is a second bottle. That is the second bottle of the seed in the big chest in the fountain. Not useful whatsoever. All we need is that first chest, that first bottle, and we don't need anything else. So, nothing in the fountain. Complete waste of time. OcNi is leaving town. I really hope they did do half-ledge. We didn't see it. Okay, they're doing the Trilby business scrub. I'm sure we saw Aero do this whilst they were on their way to Western Woods, and that is another wallet upgrade. OcNi is coming back down into town because they are doing a shop. Check. Cuckoos. OcNi is doing cuckoos. OcNi is just running around town now trying to do the all of the checks that they have put off for a while now. Meanwhile, Aero making their way through Wind Ruins, grabbing checks along the way. Now, the item that OcNi is missing that Aero has is the last Swampkin Stone. That is at Librari in the lake. OcNi needs to flute to Lake Hylia and then go through the little Minish crack there and through this nasty rolling pin path. It's not nice to do if you don't have the cape, but they have the boots. Which makes it far nicer than how Aero did it earlier. Alright, OcNi is checking another spot I don't think we saw earlier, which is Gregor 1, using the Gust Jar on the old man. That is a bunch of junk. Right, Aero has made it into Fortress of Winds. But they're just setting the quick warp and going directly for the quick warp caves. They don't fancy going into Fortress at this very second. They are missing the myths, so they are going to be missing out on item locations. So it does make sense right now to go to quick warp caves, because if it's just there, they can start going and doing things in Fortress of Winds and not having to backtrack. Because all of the different paths through Fortress of Winds, you're going to be going past digs, like walls that have chests hidden behind them. Okay, that is junk in the quick warp caves. OcNi picks up their bow butterfly in the Goron cave. OcNi has 7 scrolls that lets them do Swiftblade. This is one we haven't seen yet, I don't think. Because they picked up a beam. That's right. There we go. Okay, Aero's picking up some checks here on the left-hand side. There's a small key. So Aero can do 2 more checks over on this side before going over to the other side of the dungeon. We saw the left-hand rupees. They can do the Igor now, and then the key drop. Meanwhile, OcNi is going through this nasty path here to get to Librari, and they will be getting their Swampkin Stone. That is OcNi's Swampkin Stone. They are mad. They are so mad about that. They've been looking for like 40 minutes with no progression to find something, and it's the Swampkin Stone. And they're giving angry slashes. Right, they're going over to Fortress now. That was not a last location. We have not seen anything in Cave of Flames from either one of the raisers. They could be making themselves suffer like this needlessly. Maybe they could have just gone to Cave of Flames and got the mitts and the cape. We don't know. Alright, what's Aero going to get on this left-hand drop? That is the map. And Aero also has picked up the compass, so we have seen all of the dungeon items in Fortress. That is the boss key. The boss... Oh my god! Oh my goodness. That is the cape. We just saw the cape in Fortress. Aero just saw it on the visible heart piece. That's right. You cannot use the cape to go through that nasty cave on the way to Librari. You have to do that without the cape because the cape is in Fortress. Oh my! And there's the myths.
I'm glad this paid off, but Myth, the seed is awful.
And Arrow turns on his mic just to tell me, Myth, the seed is awful. Oh my god. Yep, there's the items we've been looking for. It was in Fortress. So Arrow's had a pretty good job here so far of avoiding a lot of the like the bait and the bad locations. Unfortunately for OcNi, they've gone full send and gone and just for the comical Jabba nut to drop during that cutscene. It doesn't matter what the item is on this key drop, you have to watch it because you are having to drop down to get this cape, but wow. Yep. So with the cape and the mitts, OcNi saw that cape and was like, "Damn it! Oh my god! OcNi is spamming remote bombs on themselves. OcNi is so mad." So OcNi's made kind of like the good play here to go to the right-hand side first, because they get the mitts, which means when they do the left-hand side, they're going to be able to do all of the, get all of the checks in one go. Aero already did the left-hand side and has have to backtrack through the section again because they found the mitts on the right-hand side. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so we are now 2 items from go mode. We need a sword, we need the last kinstone, and we need the graveyard key. It's 3 golden items. Now, the cape and the mitts open up a load of overworld locations. However, they're located just like everywhere, so a lot of backtracking is going to be needed, and it's gonna, you know, these runners are a bit close right now. They're both in the same dungeon, kind of doing the same checks. Arrow's a little bit ahead, but OcNi is very close behind. It can completely change at any moment, just depending on where they decide to go, because there's no guarantee that they're going to be going to the same locations. Arrow does go directly into Mazal, though. Yes, for the current Minish Cap tournament, the obscure locations are on, which mean dig spots. There are dig spots dotted everywhere in the overworld. Western Woods has 8. Malari's Mines has 8 as well. Cloudtops has 7, in addition to all of the checks that they haven't done yet as well. So all of the competitors have been practicing all of their obscure dig spot location knowledge, so they do know where all of the spots are. Oh, yes, and on Mount Cronal, we have seen them do all of the locations, except for Malari's Mines, Cave of Flames, and Shawn Cave. Now, Malari's Mines and Cave of Flames are right by the walk point, and Shawn Cave is just in the middle of nowhere, so that is not a nice spot to go to right now. There's so much in weird locations, like, all of Minish Woods has been cleared, except for the Like Cave and the Dig Caves there. We've got Hype Cave over in Lake Hylia. We got Town Digging Cave, as well as the Bell, and we can do the basement now and stuff like that, as well as Dojo. Yeah, Western Woods has some digging spots. Swamp has that digging cave. Trilby has a couple of digging caves. There's a dig spot in North Hyrule Field. Vale Falls has a bunch of digging relating spots, either spots in the ground or specific caves. There's so many different places that these guys can go. Yeah, what an awfully bizarre like bottleneck has this been, where it's like, yes, you must go to Fortress to get the mitts and the cape. We are an hour and a half into the seed, but it is nowhere near over. We have still a lot to do. We are, Aero has beaten their second boss, and OcNi is fighting it at the moment, so we are only 2 elements down. Crypt is going to be a very easy element to collect as soon as they find the graveyard key, wherever it is. But if they find the Kinstone for Cloudtops, they have to go through the entirety of Palace, which is going to take a while. Ooh, arrow. That was scary, but they do kill the War Masters without getting grabbed. So Arrow has been clearing the locations here in Fortress, and there's only a couple spots left. They do pick up their big butterfly, which lets them big faster. So Aero has a couple checks left here. They should have one pot and the big chest left. I don't know if they did the Gust Jar strat for getting one of the pots. I'm sure OcNi did, right? Or did they just forget? No, Aero is doing the... Okay, that was a small key. Okay, I think OcNi's already got that. You can grab that pot from the very beginning of the dungeon by using the Gust Jar and pulling it through the wall. Okay, Aero has full cleared the dungeon. There is nothing in Fortress other than that cape and the mitt, so you can leave right after doing Mazao and go and check the rest of the game. OcNi has saved. They've done Mazao. They've done the front half of Fortress, and now they're gambling that the second half of Fortress is junk. This gamble, it will work out for them because they are leaving Fortress at the same time as Aero. It's completely negated Aero's advantage. So they are completely neck and neck now, going for the casino of who's going to get lucky, who's going to find the items first. Oh yeah, that Gust Jar trick in Fortress is not in logic. You're not expected to do that to be able to get that that pot location. Right, OcNi is doing Malari's Mines right now. In the meantime, Aero is up in Cloudtops. They're going to be doing all of the... all but one of the fusions here. OcNi picks up Down Thrust and another one of the bottles. And there is another scroll. That is Dash Attack. So there's one more regular looking scroll available, and that is going to be our Rock Breaker. And I think we still haven't seen the Peril Beam. OcNi is also rushing up to Cloudtops. Oh, OcNi just got Peril Beam. Okay. Oh, it was in the dig spots in Western Woods, right. So we are missing one scroll. That is the Rock Breaker. Not important for anything, not required for anything, but it's always nice to have. Lets you break pots and rocks and stuff in, like, just by slashing. So despite having the entire overworld to go and do checks in, both of our runners are deciding to go to Cloudtops at the same time. This does make sense though. One of their required dungeons is Palace of Winds, so no matter how you approach this seed, you are going to have to do the fusions here in Cloudtops at some point to be able to get to the dungeon. So might as well just do it straight away, because you could just find something along the way. Right, we've got a handful more chicks here in Cloud Tops. Arrow's in a bit of an awkward spot down there with the Sky Piranha. They fell down at the bottom spot here, away from where the enemies spawn. That is a red rupee. That's a bunch of junk. And we are synced up doing kinstone fusions. Yeah, Arrow doing their last fusion here. We are still missing one Cloudhop's kinstone. Alright, Arrow's going to grab the last couple of chicks here. There's an Arrow refill. And then the last spot here, that is the last boomerang. Okay, that is Cloudtop's empty. Okay, so Arrow has done a couple of dig spots in Vale Falls. They're not going for the digging caves, but they're going back to town. We did not see them do the town digging cave, but we're going to see them do it now. Ah, there is a mushroom in the North Minish, the North Hyrule Field dig spot. So OcNi is going to grab that quickly and put it straight to use and see what we're going to get from Rem in the shoe shop. Meanwhile, Arrow is getting the town pillar check done. There was nothing in the shoe shop. So OcNi's going to follow Arrow into the town digging cave. Arrow had never checked the well. You don't need the cape to check this. You can do it with the flippers that they've had for an hour. Are we still missing half ledge as well? I haven't seen someone go by it in a while to see if that they've like opened a chest or not. Arrow's going by. Arrow never did it. Arrow went to Fortress without doing half ledge. Yep, Hendrix ledge time. We are an hour and 44 minutes in. We picked up the lantern like maybe an hour ago. And we see that is junk. Arrow, no! Arrow's going into Fountain. We have seen all of the locations that are available in town. that are in Logic in town at the moment, and everything's junk. OcNi has wasted a lot of time going and doing them. They're going to be going for Hype Cave right now, but Aero, unfortunately, is going all the way to Fountain. It's going to be junk. Alright, what are the items we're going to see on OcNi's side? Just a bomb refill, some rupees. OcNi didn't pick up the big butterfly. That was in Fortress, so I don't think we're going to see them get it anytime soon. Also, I thought OcNi did save in Fortress before heading out to be able to scum back to there if it turns out everything else is junk. But they did spend all of that time doing the fusions in Cloudtops, which you don't want to delete and lose the progress off. So I doubt we're going to be seeing a scum from OcNi to get back to Fortress. They would rather warp there and then run back through Wind Ruins than to have to do all of the Kinstone fusions again in Cloudtops. Okay, the last couple of items here in Hype Cave is junk. Hype Cave's completely barren. Aero is right on OcNi's trail, though, heading for it at the same time. OcNi is going to be doing the middle dig cave in Lake. That is also junk. It would have been an interesting place to put the Cloudtops Kinstone there, just because it's right below Librari, where the last Swamp Kinstone was. But OcNi is going to just do the digging caves into Minish Woods now. What else do we have available? We've got a couple of dig caves in Vale Falls. We have that one dig spot in Lon Lon Ranch. And then we have what OcNi's doing at the moment in the like digging cave. There's the farmer dig cave as well, which they're gonna warp, like they're gonna quick warp right after this cave and do straight away. We do have the Trilby dig caves as well, and we've got Sean Cave and Cave of Flames. There it is. There is a Cloudtops Kinstone. That is one of our required items. We need 2 more though. That was probably the least wanted of the 3 items we need for Go mode. Because that has just opened the entirety of Palace. The Palace can be full cleared right now. And all we need is the Graveyard Key and the 4 Swords to be able to beat the Seeds. So, they could be located anywhere else. They might not necessarily be in Palace. What is Aero heading over to? Aero is going to set the quick warp there. Go to this... they set their quick warp on the edge of Lake. Possibly so they could quick warp here and then go to check Lon Lon Ranch dig spot, which we haven't seen yet. Oh, they never checked this spot here in Lon Lon Ranch, so that makes sense why they're doing this right now. They've got some other spots they're going to do as well. Meanwhile, OcNi did the dig cave in Vale Falls. The main side of the cave, the lower side with the 2 chests hasn't been checked yet. Yeah, Aero's got a couple of checks here in Lon Lon Ranch that they haven't done yet. Can Graveyard Key be on Dampe? We have seen Dampe yet, it's not there. Reminder that we have not seen anything in Cave of Flames yet. It was the first dungeon they had access to. They had access to it at like 10 minutes. They set foot in once just to check what the items were at the very beginning, and then they left and never returned. We're now an hour and 50 minutes in, and then no one's gone back. Yes, they could have full cleared Cave of Flames the moment they arrived there, and decided not to, because Cave of Flames is non-required. Why would they go to it? Okay, OcNi picks up the Force Sword in the Wind Tribe. Now, do they save right before Palace and quickly go and check the School Garden to see if the Graveyard Key's there? Because if the Graveyard Key is just in School Garden, they're in go mode. They don't need to clear Palace. They just need to beat the boss. What they are going to do is they're going to fill up one of their bottles with a fairy, just in case. You know, you never know. You're on 17 hearts, you might die. Aero picks up the last book. They're going to immediately go and hand that in. OcNi does not want to do any sort of plays. They are going to be full clearing Palace. Decent enemy RNG here. They are staying out of the way. The P-Hats didn't come over and bully OcNi and his clones. Yalari is, however, junk, unfortunately for Aero. The book play didn't work out. Alright, OcNi gets a small key from the first chest in Palace. Gonna go for the wizard fight. Right, second item in Palace of Winds on OcNi's side is junk. Aero is clearing a few more things in town, which are unfortunately junk. We saw OcNi full clear town earlier, and it was all nothing. That is the boss key for OcNi in Palace of Winds. That is 3 total small keys. They're going to need to find 1 more if they're going to rush the boss. If they're planning on full clearing, they're going to need to find 3 more small keys. Okay, Aero's checking some new spots here. We got the Trilby Digging Caves. And that is all junk. Right, Aero, where are you going now? Is this the North Hyrule Field dig spot? Oh, this is... Oh, Aero never checked in like Lost Woods and stuff like that, so they're going and doing that now. Oh, Aero's so worried. Like, Aero went to Fortress really early. Like, they had so much else left to do. OcNi was, outside of Cave of Flames, last locationing, so... This is why OcNi has just gone for the dig spots and has rushed to Palace, whereas Aero still has a lot of these random checks dotted around that they're unfortunately now wasting a lot of time going back and doing. OcNi is doing pot push. If you're doing a full clear of this dungeon, it's probably a good idea to do pot push, because if it does have a small key, you are going to have to backtrack for it. Right, Aero checks out Dampe and gets the junk as a reward. Right, they're gonna Ocarina away. Where is Aero gonna go next? They're going to go into Cave of Flames. We are seeing the first play into Cave of Flames of the seed 1 hour 55 minutes in, when they had access 10 minutes in. OcNi gets a small key. I think that was a small key on judging from their key count. From pot push, so it was the right play to do pot push, because if they're gonna have to they're gonna do fan loop to full clear this dungeon, because you can't risk the graveyard key being there and opening the locked doors to get over to the fan loop. They need every small key available in this dungeon. Right, the heart piece is junk in Palace of Winds. Is this the decider of the seed? Remember, the seed hash at the beginning of the seed was a cane and a cape. And we're seeing that right now, both of our runners. They're going to the dungeons that those items are located in. Cave of Flames and Palace of Winds. Which one's the right choice? Is this seed going to be a seed where they end up with full life? Probably not, because they have skipped heart pieces already. So they're definitely on a lot of health, far more than you see people finishing seeds in other seeds and races. So this is definitely a seed that you're clearing far more of than normal. Right, OcNi's getting fan loop done, and it's a small key. That is all of the small keys. Aero may be able to skip having to do any of those, like the fan loop and stuff, if they find the items elsewhere. If Aero finds a graveyard key here, this could be like really good, because they'll go to Crypt. Crypt's very short. You're not going to waste your time doing a bunch of other stuff. And then if they go to Minish Woods Digging Cave and get that Cloudtop's Kenstone, they pick up their full sword on the way, and then they can just go mode Palace of Winds and not have to do the checks that OcNi is doing right now. But Aero is not finding anything in Cave of Flames right now. We have picked up one small key on Aero's side. And there's the big key. But Aero is going to pick up a small key in the next chest, because that's the only chest available to them. Wait, oh no, there was the heart piece, wasn't there? And that had the small key. Okay, never mind. I didn't see the heart piece here. It had the small key. So now they're going to continue on into the second half of the dungeon. Meanwhile, OcNi is checking out more things in Palace. We are in a graveyard key hunt. Arrows making their way into the second half of Cave of Flames. If OcNi finds the graveyard key in Palace, that saved OcNi from doing the entirety of Cave of Flames. Imagine playing a randomizer and accidentally 100%ing. Yeah! Couldn't be any- Oh no! OcNi gets grabbed by the Wallmaster! Gets sent back to the beginning of the dungeon. Oh, that's a big time loss for OcNi. Those Wallmasters are not to be taken lightly. They will grab you. They have ridiculous range on their hitboxes. Now, OcNi did the best thing, like, safety-wise by grabbing the, the chest beforehand to open up the shortcut, but, still, they're having to waste a lot of time here, traveling all the way back into this room. You have to be careful. Even though you've got the Force Sword and the Great Spin, you might feel invulnerable, but the Great Spin isn't, you know, it's a spinning sword around you. It's not just like you're like a sphere of death. They can sneak through one of the sides that, as like you swing the sword past them and just grab you. Okay, Aira's grabbing more checks right now. Two chests hit. That is junk. They're going to be making use of their cape to go through the lava basement. Meanwhile, OcNi has drained Palace completely dry of checks. There's barely anything left. There is the compass. I think we already saw the map. But there's two chests left before the boss. Yeah, they're both nearly out of locations. Maybe neither of the dungeons have the item, and it's somewhere in, like, School Garden. I think the map was at the beginning of the dungeon. Okay. Aero is basically completely done in Cave of Flames. They are going to be riding the Red Warp back. They're doing Glee Rock. They're doing Glee Rock. Okay. Glee Rock has 2 item locations, and then once you've beaten Glee Rock, you can also... And there it is! There's the graveyard key for OcNi, right on the last chest in Palace. There's the very last one. And it is go mode for OcNi. And that has pretty much decided this match. Aero has wasted a lot of time here in Cave of Flames. They still are 3 items away from go mode. OcNi, all they need to do is beat Georg, quickly run over to Crypt, and then they've got access to Dark Horror Castle, whereas Aero has to do the entirety of Palace just to be able to catch up to OcNi. That is an over 2-hour go mode, so not a very nice seed. But OcNi made the right play of completely ignoring Cave of Flames for the entirety of the seed. So OcNi going to be showing off some of the cool strats you can do here on Georg, using the Great Spin to kill the boss, the eye on the boss as quickly as possible on the blue one. Falling and then pressing the pause button lets you snap the camera back to Link on the red Georg, and it saves a little bit of time. You don't necessarily have to create clones to hit all of the red eyes as well. You can just use the down strike and hit all of them very easily like that. And then just a couple more hits with the full sword, and that's the boss taken care of. Casually, Georg is a real rough boss to fight. It's cool and interesting and all, but when you're playing the rando and you've got the great spin and you've got the downstrike, it makes the boss so much more consistent to do quickly. Can you also softlock yourself by doing that? Yes. If the blue Georg is in the middle of a spin, like it likes to spin its tail every now and then. If you fall off it after killing it whilst it's in the middle of its spin action, you can make the boss softlock because the Blue Georg doesn't register that it has like progressed to the next part of the cycle and keeps trying to grab you and put it back on its back. So we are aware that that's a thing that happens. It's not exactly a soft lock. You just need to go back onto its back and then get ridden out, like off into the distance. However, there's this other random thing that can happen completely arbitrarily that we don't exactly know what causes it or for what reasons. That just straight up softlocks the boss and makes it so that the eyes never open and you can't kill the boss. We don't know why that happens, other than you going too fast. Right, OcNi is making their way through the graveyard now with the graveyard key. OcNi does not have Rock Breaker, so they're having to throw the rocks to get them out of the way. Oh, Aero never even did the Malari Mines dig spots because they planned on doing it after Cave of Flames. Okay, Aero is going for Sean Cave. It's max desperation at this point, but there's no real way back for them at this point. So, in the meantime, however, OcNi is going to be collecting their fourth and final element, which means they have access to Dark Hyrule Castle, the last dungeon of the game. And in Dark Hyrule Castle, we like to play a game. Where do you think the boss key is going to be located? There are 9 item locations in Dark Hyrule Castle. So we like to rank them 1 through 9 in the order that the first racer to enter Dark Hyrule Castle like collects those items in. So if we can open a bet, you can do exclamation mark bet and then put in your number and the number bet you think the boss key is going to be located at, and I'm not logged in to Twitch. Give me a sec. But the bet is open right now, so do exclamation mark bet followed by a number 1 to 9. We have people bet at the moment 7, 5, 9, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and 8, and 4. I think that's all of the bets done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, everyone has bet one of the different numbers so far. So you can also put your bets in, but the people who bet first are going to get the bet points. But you also get bragging rights if you bet correctly as well. I always like to bet number 4, so I'm going to do bet 4. You have a few more moments to bet. The bet will stay open until we open the first item location in Dark Hyrule Castle, OcNi's watching a couple of little cutscenes opening the dungeon, and then we will be able to we'll close the bet and then see where the boss key is located. There's a couple of there's two options of what OcNi's going to do at the beginning. To collect their first item, either they're going to go to the big chest that's located in the basement, or they're going to go all the way over to the king. What are they going to choose? They are going to the king, so we're going to have to wait. You got a little bit more extra time to put your bet in if you haven't already done so. OcNi obviously doing the complete wrong play here. Who does king? King is a complete waste of time. Why even do it? Everyone who does king is slow. You heard me. It's an objectively bad decision. We're gonna wait a few more seconds before I'm proven right. With the king. And see, the king is a load of junk. Look, it was a... See, it's a small key. We're not gonna need that small key. But anyone who bet 1 is wrong. The boss key is not on the king. I mean, I don't know why you bet 1 anyway. It's never on the king. Okay, there's the second item. It is the map. So OcNi's going to make use of that small key and heads directly for the throne and hope that the throne has the boss key. And then they'll be able to go right to Vati. They're going for the bomb strat here. This is incredibly precise strat here. And they pull it off. Well done. That's really difficult to pull off. You specifically switch your bombs out from the remote bombs to the regular bombs because that setup has a precise timing on when the bomb explodes. Okay, so they're opening the throne. And it is a small key. So it is not item number 3. Oh no, Aero is going all the way back to Deepwood before they do the Light Cave. Oh no, poor Aero. Yeah, so OcNi's got quite a few rooms here where we're not going to be seeing any item checks for a while. They're going to have to go and activate the red warp and then warp back to the beginning of the dungeon and do the blade chest, so be a couple minutes here before we see a new item from them. Meanwhile, Aero is going to be doing the Caterpillar, because they didn't do this earlier. Oh, did they? Yeah, they did not have the lantern when they came here. So they didn't get to do the Caterpillar. But as we saw on OcNi's side earlier on, when they came and full cleared Deepwood, Deepwood was completely junk. There was nothing here. Both the non-required dungeons in this seed were completely barren. They had nothing and were completely avoidable. OcNi, slightly forgetting there that they did not have the boss key, jumped at the boss door and was like trying to open it for a second, but it wouldn't open. Gonna have to go and do the blade chest. Gonna be doing... No, they're not doing the bomb strat here. This other bomb strat is slightly easier, but it saves less time than just... than the other bomb strat. It's still like 2 seconds faster if you do the bomb strat, but it's perfectly fine to just create clones there. 2 seconds is nothing to get worried about. Right, the blade chest, what is it going to be? And it's a small key. It's not the big key, so that is bet number 4 out of here. That's right, the boss key is going to be somewhere at the back of the dungeon. So OcNi's going to have to go kill the Black Knight and then do some tower checks. OcNi doing the Void strat here, where they hug the very top of the grate, and it doesn't save their location on that grate, so that when they void out, they respawn back down at the bottom of the room. Saves having to wait for the platform. One of the reasons why the Magic Boomerang's so incredibly strong, at the end of the game here, you can throw it at those chains of sparks and just get a horde of fairies, which just makes it so easy to fill your health back up to full, even when you're incredibly low, like OcNi was just now on 2 hearts. They didn't have to care too much because they knew that they were gonna be able to get to this spot in the dungeon. So towers, they're gonna do top left tower first. Right, this is check number 5, and that is not the boss key. How many small keys is that now? Is that 4? Yeah, that's 4 out of the 5. There's 1 small key left. A boss key, a compass, and a random item, I think. Okay, Aero is in the Like Cave. They are killing the Likes and they're picking up their Cloud Top Skin Stone. And there is the boss key. It was check number 6. Bottom left corner. So the winner is 6, unless I was miscounting. I think I counted right. I didn't see OcNi do bottom right tower. Yeah, I counted right. Okay. Now, because this seed was so long, OcNi is just completely, like, powered up and has everything you need to do these fast. So you got Great Spin, you've got, like, all of the spin scroll upgrades, you have 18 hearts. Yeah, like, these Dark Nuts are an absolute joke. Roll attack as well, really strong when they do a dash attack like that. OcNi did get blessed with the good RNG of the Black Dark Nut just running down at the very start, so you can just hop over it, then it's pinned against the wall and you just kill it straight away. And the other guys were dealt with nice and quickly as well. The Vati fight should go by nice and quickly because they have all of the upgrades to everything. They have the bow butterfly, yeah, they have great spin and stuff like that. It's going to make the fights much easier than normally. Oh, OcNi gets hit there just as it's the last eye was spinning past him. Okay, getting a couple of teleports, but I'm going to use the Gust Jar there to get that last bit of purple goop off of Vati, and then great spin. Really bad teleports from Vati. Real bad at RNG. And that was a 3-cycle on Vati, which is good. A couple more teleports than you would like to see, but that's perfectly fine. Vati 1 can get way worse than that. So Aero is on the right path now. They found their Cloudtop's Kinstone. They picked up their Force Sword. They are not going into Palace. They are going to full clear everything else before they go into Palace. OcNi gets great RNG there on Vati too. Oh! Okay, Aero is doing the play that I said OcNi might want to do earlier, which is save at Palace and then warp to town and check out the school garden just in case it has the graveyard key. But it doesn't have the graveyard key. It's full of junk. The graveyard key is at the very end of Palace. So OcNi on the final round of Vati 2. That was very scary. His clone pattern is very vulnerable to getting pushed against the side of the arena and killed. But that was a very nice set of Vati fights. And OcNi is on to the final boss fight, Vati 3. Vati 3, for the rando players and for the speedrunners, is considered to be the easiest part of the Vati fights. Vati 1 and 2 are way harder. Though the very end of this fight, the tennis section is nothing to take lightly. You still do need to position yourself precisely, because any slight mistake and it can cause a snowball effect of time loss where the boss just gets out of control. But if you can keep your cool, this boss isn't too much to get worried about. Right, that is 2 fast set of hands that have been shoved into the ground by Vati 3. OcNi using the lantern and getting very nice RNG there from that eye. The eye coming right up to him so that he can kill it quickly with a great spin. Yes, a lot of people's experience with Minish Cap is going through all of these challenging boss fights, getting to this one, and then this one's a bit of a grueling fight because it's really hard to figure out that, oh, it's the cane that you need to use to hit the flip the arms over and make him vulnerable, and you can end up dying here. And if you die, you go all the way back and have to do all of the fights again, all the way from before the Dark Nuts. But OcNi has landed 2 blows to Vati. All he needs is 1 more and it's GG. Right, last volley coming up. And that is GG for OcNi. That is 224.57. Not a particularly nice seed, and we welcome in our racers here.
GG's.
GG's.
You know, I said this on the racer, but I guarantee if I kept going, I probably would have had 20 hearts.
Yeah? Did you pick up every heart piece?
Yes, I 100%ed everything. My tracker is empty. Minus Palace.
People were asking earlier, it's like, oh, is this going to be the seed that we see someone finish with 20 hearts?
I mean, if I would have finished, probably. My tracker was empty. Like, hard last location in that Cloudstone was painful. Given I was already upset enough at the seed when I got the miss.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I think you weren't as mad as OcNi, though.
No. I got the cape, and I saw the cape, and I'm like, ooh, this trip was actually worth it in some way. Then I got the myth, and I'm like, alright, myth, I'm mad.
Yeah, Aero, you went to Fortress just before OcNi, and it was kind of a good play from you because you still had a lot of other stuff left to do, but then...
My big thing is, I was doing everything I could to avoid going to Cave of Flames.
Yep.
I was like, it's like that screams bait. I think all I had left when I went to Cave of Flames was Minish Woods, Deep Wood, and a couple of one-off stuff in places. So when I went there, I'm like, alright, this is gonna be empty. And then when I went to Deepwood, I'm like, I'm going here in Deepwood. Watch it be in Minish Woods. Watch it be that mid spot. Yep.
So OcNi, when we saw you pick like basically last location that Swampkin Stone, I say basically because like the only other thing you had available was like Cave of Flames, right? You were just spamming
caves.
Oh yeah, and yeah. You were spamming remote bombs as you were walking through Fortress. You were just spamming remote bombs, blowing yourself along the way.
Yeah,
how mad were you?
A lot, because I was really tempted to do that check kinda early, because I like to do the quick warp case out of logic, and this seed I decided to not do. Yeah.
So I will say though, last location in the Caster Stone was way different than last location in the Cloud Stone. I had all three of them super early.
Yeah.
But I had no way to go through Caster, and I was like,
yeah.
Once I did, and then once I found Boots, and I'm like, of course they're here.
Yeah, OcNi went to droplets a lot earlier than you, Aero. So
yeah, well, I
OcNi
also
had the boots for a while.
I also double dipped droplets.
Yeah, you both did. It was required to do that because you had to go there to get the sword, and then the sword took you to
Lantern.
Yeah, Lantern, and then you could go back to droplets to actually do
the real painful double dip was definitely Deepwood though, because I did something I don't do often, and that is forget to peek the Veil Falls spot. And boy, did I get burned for that. The Gush Jar.
Yeah.
Because I went there when I finally had the Fall Stone. I'm like, oh, that's Gush Jar. That's gonna bite me somehow. And yeah, it's me going back to double dip a barren Deepwood Shrine.
Now, it was playing into your hand a bit because it meant that you didn't have to do as much in Deepwood before you were kicked out and forced to leave.
Well, I don't know. I did everything but Matter Pillar and like one other chest. So like,
yeah, so yeah, the non-element dungeons were all completely barren and not required to enter at all.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I was when I went to go finally do Cave of Flames, I'm like, all right, this is either everything or nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's just Cave of Flames for you. Like, I got the cane in while climbing Krenel, and I'm like, the first thing I said, I think I even turned my mic on this, is I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I dislike this. I'm not. Because the first thing I did was check elements when I got cane, and I saw the non-elements. I'm like, so what are these seeds?
The two things I said about Krenel is, like, at the very start, both of you had Grip Ring and Bottle. So you were like, okay, we're going to do...
I did Krenel before even going to Minish Woods.
You both did that, and I was like, oh, I don't like this play. It's like, you go to Minish Woods, like, come on, like, don't waste your time doing this. And then immediately proven wrong because Flippers and Kane were down there, and I'm like, fine. Like, and then the second thing, I was like, oh, I guess if you get the Kane here, you might as well go and clear Cave of Flames now.
Nope.
Neither of you did that, and I spent the rest of the seed going, I was like, oh, but Cave of Flames could have something. Nope.
Nope. Nothing at all. Yeah, also, I'm looking at my tracker now, I just realized I accidentally left the Jabbernut in Fortress. Oops.
No.
Oh no.
I never picked it up, apparently.
Oh, you need to go back and watch the restream at the when you were both in Fortress. I was cackling with laughter.
Yeah. Also, I got bottle percent to all 4 bottles. Yeah, I think the only thing I was actually missing was, other than picking up Jabbernut, was the last couple of heart pieces, which I'm going to assume were between Fortress and Graveyard. Well, they kind of have to. Well, they could be a DHC.
Yeah, we didn't see anything in Graveyard.
Where was Walkbreaker? I'm missing
I
that.
never got it, so it's probably a DHC.
I can pull that up.
Yeah, I'm going to assume DHC because I did not get it.
So yeah, when you did Cave of Flames and everything else, it has to be DHC.
It was the Graveyard Butterfly.
Oh,
okay.
Which we didn't see because OcNi was in go mode. And
just walked right in, yeah.
Yeah.
Given if I was in go mode at that point, I probably would have checked the checks anyway to meme, seeing if I were going to get 20 hearts or not. Because a 20 heart finish on a restream would be hilarious.
Yeah.
And a test with just how awful the seed was.
If a race winner has 20 hearts,
there's something
dear
wrong.
Lord.
I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention to how many hearts OcNi had on finish.
I think 18 or so.
Yeah, I was on 19, already having 1 or 2 heart pieces. Like, it was bad.
Also, the seed wasn't very nice with the heart pieces early on. Like, you took a while to get
it was a while before I got 10, but once I hit 10, they were just flying in.
It was the red sword. You didn't go to droplets right away after the flippers, whereas OcNi did. Got their red sword and went straight to Western Woods. And that's like they just shot up to like 12 heart pieces, and you were still down on 6. And it was
there was like 3 containers and like 7 heart pieces throughout that. They were all through that.
Yeah.
Didn't I do Vayfords first?
Oh yeah, you did. Right. Yeah, you did Veil Falls after Red Sword.
Okay.
Because of course, Red Sword means go to Veil Falls.
It just didn't help that things like. That Fortress, though, living up to its name, Fortress of Go mode.
And OcNi did the right play of bailing and not doing the back half.
Because I was feeling really behind.
Yeah, I also felt a little behind, and I'm like, but most of the seed, which I don't know if Myth knows this or not, but most of the seed, instead of like just hopping around areas, I was basically just playing to full clear anyway. Like, I spent a lot of time in town each visit.
Oh yeah, you kept going back and doing stuff
I kept.
OcNi had to do it early, and then like.
Yeah, I took a chance when I got Force Sword. I took a chance. I'm like, I'm gonna go check Garden because if Graveyard Key's here, I can go Palace at least.
That is what I brought up. Was like going through.
That's 100% what I was doing.
OcNi picked up Force Sword in Wind Tribe, and then it was like, oh, you can do a play here because all you need is a Graveyard Key for Go mode. You could enter Palace, save, exit Palace, warp back to town, and have a quick check
Garden.
of that. And if it's junk, you save scum, and you're back in Palace, and you can keep going.
Yeah, and if it's Graveyard Key, well, you just saved about 10 minutes.
Yeah, you get to now Go mode Palace. You don't mind doing the quick. Like climb back up.
Unfortunately, though, it was also junk. It was nothing but heart pieces, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Guardian was all heart. It was all health. I think it was like 2 heart pieces and a rupee or something like that in the chest.
So the hash for the seed was, you saw it was a cane and there was a cape. And at the end of the seed, it came down to Aero, you doing Cave of Flames, the cane, and OcNi doing Palace of Winds, the cape.
Yeah.
And of course, the Graveyard Key, the Go mode item, was the very last chest in Palace of Winds.
Yeah, which was also very unfortunate.
Yeah, bringing it down to the very, the line of
Yeah, I didn't want to go back to Minish Woods for just the Mitch check, so I was like, I'll just do it when I finally go back to Deepwood. Yeah, that hurt.
So, congratulations, OcNi. Commiserations, Aero.
Yep. OcNi's up again.
Nesman.
Hey.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
How are you looking forward to that?
Out of my experience playing against Nesman, I can win 1 out of 5 matches.
You have beaten them before. It is it's
one
not
time.
Nesman's beatable. We most of us have done it at least once. At least once.
And I am relying on you to beat them, because if I beat Mashi, then you know, I'd rather play against you.
We will see. Look, the thing with Nesman is unpredictable, and that's what makes him dangerous.
But that, I believe, wraps it up for us. So thank you everyone for watching. We are going to be sending a raid over to PKR, who's doing some Super Metroid A Link to the Past combo rando. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching.
Good.
GG's to both our runners.
GG's. Also, shout outs to my tracker only failing me once today.
Yeah, I was wondering because about that.
The tracker most of the time, for the most part, the tracker was doing well, and then I forgot when it was. I was like, no, I'm just gonna do a full reset on the auto tracking.
Yeah. But this was the last match of this round of the tournament. Stay tuned for next week when we have the second round of the knockout stage of the Minish Cat Randomizer tournament. Thank you everyone.
Is it the last one? Have we had the Kato Ibot match yet?
That I believe is not going ahead, and Ibot is forfeiting. We're just going to double check that. But
that's unfortunate.
I don't think they're going to be scheduling their match. So yeah, all of the matches for round 2 are ready to be scheduled.
And all of these are going to be good.
And with that, let us send that raid over to PKR.
Yep, I'm out of here. GG's again.
All right, GG's.